This is the introduction to Zoom conferencing. In here, we will cover the basics of attending a Zoom class, as well as some tips and tricks for Zoom etiquette. When you first get invited to a Zoom meeting, you'll probably get an email that looks something like this. It will probably also have a date and time for the Zoom meeting. The easiest way to access the Zoom link at the appropriate time is to click the link listed here. There are other options to get onto a Zoom meeting. You can call in, and you can also open a Zoom app and enter a meeting ID. Sometimes the meetings also have passwords that it will prompt you to enter. Once you click on the link in the email to open a Zoom meeting, it will take you to a window that looks something like this, and this will indicate that the Zoom meeting is being launched. Then a prompt will pop up with a dialog box asking you if you want to open Zoom meeting. Go ahead and click the button Open Zoom Meeting. Then it will pop up with a video showing your face with a button on the bottom that you can select to either join with video or join without video. This will show your face to the rest of the crew in your Zoom meeting. The next dialog box asks you to join the meeting with audio. Once you're in your Zoom meeting, you can control your volume and your video by these buttons in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You can just click the mute icon to turn your audio on and off, and then same with your video icon to turn your video on and off. This is important because when you are on a Zoom video call, understanding that keeping your mute button on unless you need to actually say something is super important, because feedback from people's audio in the background noise and other things can cause disruption to a Zoom meeting. If you click on the button to the right of the video icon, a menu comes up and you can choose a different background. You can go into more advanced video settings, and it has an integrated webcam selected. That just shows that the webcam is on to make the video work. And here's an image of the video when the video is turned off. As you can see, my screen is blank and only my name shows up instead of my face. You can allow people to rename themselves so that their video screen shows their name or some other name. You can also remove participants if they're being disruptive to the meeting. The next button on the Zoom menu bar is the Manage Participants button. And if you click on this, you will pull up a list on the right of your Zoom screen of participants that are in the Zoom meeting. And in that participants section, you can do a few things. You can interact with the Zoom meeting by saying yes or no. You can communicate approval or disapproval of something. You can clap your hands. You can also request the host of the meeting to go slower, or the speaker of the meeting to go slower or faster, depending on what your needs are. Under the button that says More, you have more options to communicate. You can do a thumbs down, thumbs up, or a clapping. You can also indicate to people to take a break, and you can also indicate to people that you've stepped away from the screen. Next to each participant's name, there is a button for muting them and also a button to rename them. Some people might use a different computer to log on to a Zoom meeting, and so you might not know who they are. Or if there's a problem with someone entering that's not supposed to be part of the meeting, then you can remove them. But if you want to rename the participant so that the name reflects who they are, then you can go ahead and click that button and rename the participant. You can also use this screen to invite other participants. If you click the invite button below the yes, no buttons, you can go ahead and invite multiple people to the Zoom conference. Next to the invite button, you have the option to mute all or unmute all if you're the host of the meeting. And you can also have, if you hit those three dots next to the unmute all, you can also access the security options that you can access from the Zoom menu below the screen. The next button is the chat button on the Zoom menu bar, and it pulls up a screen where you can chat with the other participants. The default setting for the chat is everyone, but you can click on the right side of the everyone words on the chat bar, and you can select individual participants to chat to. From the chat menu, you can also use it to communicate to the whole group. You can hit yes to answer or no to answer a question. You can request the speaker to go faster or slower. The next button on the Zoom menu bar is the Share Screen button. You can share your computer screen, or you can share a specific application. When you hit Share Screen, a pop-up box will ask you which screen that you want to share. So if you have multiple applications open, you can choose to share either your web browser or your Word document or whatever it is that you want to share with the group. Once you select what you want to share, you'll click the Share button, and then your computer screen will be the one that everyone sees on the Zoom call. While you're sharing your screen, another menu will be displayed, and it allows you to stop sharing screen, pause the share, add a new share, and mute the conversation. If you select more from the Share Screen menu bar, you will also be able to access the chat, start closed captioning, use the breakout rooms, stop the video, or end the meeting. The next button in the Zoom menu bar is the closed caption option, and here you can select a participant to type what is being spoken in the Zoom. So if someone is not able to hear, they can also follow along with the Zoom conference. The next button is the breakout rooms. This allows the host of the meeting to break those Zoom participants into smaller groups for discussion or other intended purposes according to the agenda of the meeting. When you select a breakout room, you can automatically assign the participants to a number of rooms, or you can manually assign individual participants to specific rooms. This allows participants to have better chat. So if there's a group of 12 people, you can assign each person to 4 different rooms, and then 3 people can have a better chat than 12 people. Once you click the breakout room, it will pop up with this dialog menu so that you can assign specific rooms to people or add a room if you need an extra one. The last button on the menu bar, of course, is the Leave button or the End Meeting button. Once you click that, you will exit the Zoom conference meeting. If you are the host, you can do it for everyone, but if you are an individual, you can choose to leave the meeting at any time. You can see in this screen that I'm on a video call with myself using 2 different computers, and one video screen is larger than the other. That is the speaker view. And as a side note, I have selected using a background image for that video screen. That is an option that you have to use a background image so that people don't have to see your background in the space that you're using for your video conference. As you can see, the background image doesn't work that well. It works best if you have a background that is a green color so that it kind of uses it as a green screen. And in my case, I just had a plain white background and it didn't really attach on to my background as well. But the other thing I wanted to talk about in this screen was that the speaker, whoever is speaking, is the larger screen, and the other people who are participating in the Zoom call are smaller thumbnail screens. This allows the people in the Zoom call to focus specifically on the Zoom speaker. So you can choose to have the screen set up as speaker view, where one screen, the speaker, is larger than the other screens, the other participant screens, or you can choose to have gallery view, which is what you see here. In gallery view, every participant has an equal size video screen, and so you can see all participants usually in one screen at a time. If there are more than so many participants, all participants will not be able to fit on one screen, but you can usually see all participants in one or two screens. When
We'll
you're
end the Zoom
participating in a
video
Zoom
with
meeting, you
some
want to
Zoom
keep a few
etiquette,
tips and tricks
ways
in
to
your
behave
mind so that
to
you can
not
have a
disrupt
smooth
a
flow of
meeting in
conversation.
progress. Hope
If
you had a
people
good
on the
time.
call don't
Thank
know
you.
each other, consider suggesting that people announce who they are before they start speaking. In some Zoom meetings, if there's enough participants, you're not able to see every single person on your screen, so it's good to know who is speaking. When your microphone is turned on, please be aware that people on the Zoom meeting can hear anything that is going on in your home. Try to only unmute yourself if you're choosing to contribute to the call. And this is also important to note because any kind of background noise can adversely affect the Zoom meeting and people won't be able to hear what you or other participants are saying. Try to make eye contact with individuals you are speaking to by looking at the camera, not at the projection screen. A lot of people fall easily into the habit of looking at the people on their screen, but if you really want to make an impact with what you're saying, try looking at the webcam point. Be sure that you are visible in the video monitor and that the webcam is centered on your face. Make sure that the video is not too far away so people can't see you clearly, but also not too close so that, they're not overwhelmed by your whole face in their screen. Show, let's see, show that you are listening to others by nodding your head and looking into the camera. Be sure that there are ample lighting in your space so people can see you clearly. Also be sure that there's not a light behind you shining into the video cam, which obscures obscures other people from seeing you and also creates a bright light so that other people's eyes get bothered. Direct questions or comments to a particular person at the remote site by stating their name to gain their attention. That's same as the first point of always announcing who you are before you start speaking. Another point that isn't listed here that is good to keep in mind is that only one person can truly speak when you're on a Zoom call. And so it's really important to wait until someone's fully finished speaking before you take a turn. Also, it's a good idea to wait a beat before you start speaking or announce that you want to speak by raising your hand so that people aren't interrupting you or that you're not interrupting other people. Anyway, happy Zooming!